Welcome everyone to the Time Rust Brain Trust podcast. This is the place where we dedicate all of our time to the things that eat away at your time. Let's get to the introductions. I'm Nathan, the host with the most.
Yo, it's Marquise. What it is?
What's going on? I'm Eli.
Steve.
And I am apparently the special guest this week. My name is Ian.
Ian, you're new. What do you like?
Well, Nathan, I'm glad you asked. Along with what you guys cover here, generally my topic of interest would be comic books, TV shows, movies, video games. I'm a little bit behind on those, though. And
everybody is, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm about 3 years behind on that.
Yeah, he's like epically behind because his Xbox died or something.
Yeah, and then I met my wife and my kids.
Oh yeah, you got married and had children and all that stuff.
So you're one of the people that lost the Xbox and found a life.
Yeah.
If you call it that.
That's so hurtful. That's so hurtful. Nothing against all the people that listen that have, families.
I'll just keep my opinion to myself. All right, let's get right to it. Marquise, what are you doing?
Oh, so this has been a crazy week. But I read this week Age of Ultron #1 by Marvel Comics. Bendis Bendis wrote it. It was pretty good. I'm gonna say Hawkeye's pretty hardcore.
Hawkeye he's a crazy dude.
I mean, he's pretty hardcore.
Never gets the respect he deserves.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It's probably the purple uniform.
Well, yeah, but either way, he still doesn't get the props.
Nobody can be posed in
deserves.
effeminate superhero in positions quite like Hawkeye.
Dude, look at Green Arrow, though. Seriously.
Yeah, but
the beard gives him credibility.
Hawkeye's way better than Green Arrow, and that's just opinion.
That's all there is to it.
Yeah, but it was a good solid issue. They didn't get into a lot of what happened. They saved a lot of that for issue 2. But Spider-Man and Hawkeye are the main characters in this one. It was pretty good. I enjoyed the art. Brian Hitch did the art, so it was epic, amazing. What else did I read? I read All New X-Men #8. The All New X-Men Meet the Avengers. Captain America's not too thrilled about that. And then I read Avengers #8. Number 8?
Number 7.
7. Avengers #7, yeah. And that's picking up. It was a slow build. Hickman had a slow build with that, but it's starting to really pick up really fast. I played a little GTA 4 this week.
Again?
Yeah, well, I'm waiting because I'm going shopping today. I finally get Far Cry 3.
No, you're gonna get that.
Yes,
I
I brought Lost Planet back. I am cashing in for Far Cry 3. Yes.
So you're putting Far Cry 3 ahead of GTA 4, I guess.
Oh, you better believe that.
I finished the last 3 hours of that game on my Twitch channel the other day.
What, Far Cry 3?
Yeah.
I should say, though, Far Cry 3 is amazing, and GTA 4 was great for that moment, but Far Cry 3 is outstanding.
Until you get to the end.
2 endings. You only experienced 1.
I've only experienced 1 so far, but
you weren't happy.
Holy crap, did that disappoint?
But we'll talk about after the
podcast. The last 6 hours of that game were disappointing to me.
And then what I watched, of course, Young Justice and Green Lantern, which coming. They've got 2 episodes left for both shows.
I'm not really happy with it at all.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it either, but the build-up is ridiculous now.
There is so much that is left undone, that is so much potential with Green Lantern and with Young Justice as shows. They could have taken in some interesting directions, and all they did was
that's just the indecisiveness of DC.
Oh, I don't think it's DC. It's largely a Cartoon Network.
Warner Brothers Cartoon Network.
They're the same.
They're the parent company.
But
they also own DC, so...
Yeah, but
they really have no excuse.
I watched
the properties they handle.
They handled it wrong. Yeah. You can't take the Justice... They took the Justice League and made it a huge deal. Why couldn't they take Young Justice and do the same thing?
Well...
And Green Lantern do the same thing?
Don't forget that with the Justice League cartoon and the Justice League Unlimited, those didn't run for as long as they should have. They keep starting shows and then canceling shows and pulling the teams off and things like that. I mean, they were running with Batman Beyond, which was a great show, and then they canceled that for Justice League, and then Justice League for Justice League Unlimited, and then they pulled the team and went somewhere else. I mean, but with Young Justice, it's super good, well written, and they're pulling it for Teen Titans Go, which is awful. Or you could have Batman fighting all of his crappy C-string villains.
I know I'll be paying attention to all of those shows when I don't record them on my DVR and forget they exist.
Amen, brother.
Well, I go back to iTunes or on the internet and rewatch all of Young Justice and Green Lantern and cry myself to sleep.
I'll be watching my Justice League collection on DVD. Didn't go for the Blu-ray because it wasn't on sale on Amazon, whereas this was for a lot off.
Well, like I said, Young Justice was pretty good. I enjoyed this week's Young Justice. It was they dived into a lot of the Blue Beetle history.
Blue Beetle's alright.
Yeah. So they dived into a lot of that history. Zatanna guest star, Rocky guest star. Two former team members who are on the Justice League now guest star. So that was pretty cool. Green Lantern was good. I was very mad about Star Wars.
I haven't watched Star Wars in quite a while.
Star Wars upset me.
I heard that there was some disappointment abound.
Season 5 finale, right?
Yeah. Spoiler alerts, Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order.
Yep.
That's probably how she escaped Order 66.
Yeah, and that's what they're leaning towards. That's how she escaped 66. And that's
which could bring back the potential for Disney to have her star in her own film series,
yeah.
which would be kind of neat because I do enjoy her as a character.
But now she's going to be like 20 years older. I don't know how her race ages, but it'll still be cool. Well, unless they do a movie that's like a side story to the original trilogy.
How old is she in the show? She's like 12 or 13?
Yeah, she's like 12 or 13 in the show.
So she'd only be
20
like
years will be she'd be like 30 something.
I'm just saying,
But
she would be a little.
Her race actually. I forget what they're called, but they do age around the same as humans, maybe a little slower. I don't rightfully recall from the tabletop game. I just remember playing, what was it, Force Unleashed and going in and killing all of them.
The Star Killer. He was great. And I watched Raw this week, which was very, very good. There was a lot of WrestleMania build-up. The Undertaker came back.
I saw that. I watched a clip of that.
Come back.
Yeah, so it's Undertaker versus CM Punk.
Sad that he came back, though, in the same week that Paul
Bear died, yeah.
Yeah, but he hasn't had Paul Bear with him for such a long
I
time.
know, it just...
Yeah, but
they started together.
Now, now he has to win. I'm sorry. He has to win.
It for Paul Bear.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got to do it for Paul Bear,
What he
man.
needs to do is he needs to drag a coffin down and roll CM Punk into it and nail it shut when he's done kicking the crap
and then
out of
light it on fire. Have Kane come down and light it on fire.
That might be a little extreme, but yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I want to see like someone come down with the urn, like maybe someone from the Shield working with, Punk come down with the urn, and because back in the day, I know it's really silly, but I loved it. Paul Bearer would raise the urn, Undertaker would sit up, beat someone up, go from there. And
it was awesome.
If someone came back with the urn, or if they brought the urn out and then CM Punk like destroyed it, and then Undertaker, I don't care if he wins or not, it would just be cool to see him like break it open and like there's a firework inside and he goes, something like that, something epic.
Oh, well, that and the Rock Cena bit was. Oh my goodness!
That was
that was some good promo right there. Mm-hmm. That was well done. It was just very well done. Nice WrestleMania build up, and that's what I watched and that's what I did this week.
Nice.
Eli, what are you doing?
In order to tell you what I've been doing, I first need to tell you what I have not been doing. And what I have not been doing is playing SimCity. Because for some reason, they have seen fit to launch a game that requires you to join a server and then not allow you to actually join a server.
I get this nostalgic feeling of deja vu, like we're playing Diablo 3 all over again.
Is it May
it's similar to
2012?
Diablo 3. It's similar to that type of issue. But Diablo 3's issues were resolved within like 36 hours.
All I know is
this is day 3, and I have yet to even create a city. Like, to even go into where I can say, build a road, place my town hall. I can't do any of that. 3 days.
Well, I do know that it caused a massive problem on Origin. Like,
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble getting the Mass Effect 3 DLC down until I didn't get it till like 5 o'clock in the evening, and I had these problems where, like, when I would exit Origin and I would start it back up, it would tell me that another computer was logged into my Origin account from somewhere else, but it wasn't because it was lagging behind.
Because their servers were so backed up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And when you called them, they were like, if you're calling about Origin and, SimCity, press this number. It's like, and I called them and I was like, boop, it was like, your call will be addressed as it came into queue. It's like, you should be.
When they finally answer, it's just a guy sitting there going,
He's probably crying, but I was like in line. It was like 2,360 minutes or something ridiculous. It was like 100. I was like, I'm gonna be on this phone for like a day because of a game.
yeah. Well,
where you build an imaginary city.
Probably the worst thing, like, it's one thing for the game not to be working, but for the game to tell you that it's working, so you try joining it, and then when you try and claim a city, like, you have to claim a city within a region in the game. And so when you try and claim the city, then it sits there and it thinks for like 5 minutes, and then it's like, unable to claim a city at this time, try again later, and then the server goes offline, but then it comes immediately right back on, because it never was actually offline. But it's just sitting there taunting you, saying, yeah, it works. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it works. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it works. No, it doesn't. If you pick a server that's not just available, then you are going to go into a queue. Their version of a queue, though, is in 20 minutes we'll attempt to connect you to a server again. It's not like you're waiting in line and you're going to get on in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes we'll try and connect to the server again. And that just keeps looping over and over again. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. And EA is refusing to give refunds for people that bought it digitally. I didn't buy it digitally. I bought it at GameStop because I just happened to be there.
I would have had no idea that was an EA game, judging from what you were saying there.
Wasn't
Their servers have always been so great.
it used to be?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Sierra. Sierra was the original SimCity.
No, Maxis.
Maxis.
Oh,
Maxis,
they were eaten
yeah,
up by
but
EA.
I forget who. I don't know. I don't think Maxis certainly didn't publish it, so
No.
it may have been somebody else.
I always thought it was EA kept putting them out and just kept, when they were Electronic Arts.
No, they didn't have it initially.
It's in the game.
They didn't have that initially
EA Sports,
If it's in the
baby.
game.
until they bought Will Wright out and had him come join them and start making the Sims. Then it was EA.
'Cause I think it's got to be a defunct publisher.
Yeah, it might be. I can't remember. That was a long time ago.
Because Origin was, itself was it a game studio or a publisher?
It was nothing.
Origin was it was the second attempt of their downloader Steam ripoff service.
No, they had Origin was something initially, like way back, early '90s. All right,
I think it was
computer games.
well,
I don't know.
let
it
me-
might have been a
I'll-
game studio, but
I'll look that
You
up.
hit some fact checking while
Look up
I.
the origin of Origin.
Yeah. Nice. But
we went there.
the fact that I was unable to play that for the last 3 days allowed me to play other things. I got Mark of the Ninja on Steam. It was $5, and that game is amazing. Clay is a really great studio. They do good work, and the game is a lot of fun. Just the way that you navigate the environment and the stealth in that game is really impressive. It doesn't play at all like I thought it would. Like, if you've played Shank, it's not like that at all. It feels completely different, just in the nature of the game. I'm still playing, of course, Fire Emblem. The game is still really good. I still play it a lot. I've been playing some more Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and I got a few more characters created on WWE 13 because I've just been messing around making stupid characters on there. Man, what else? I finished Far Cry 3, like I said earlier. I finished that. Pretty disappointed in the last part of that game, the way it wraps up. I just feel like they had so much more potential and things that they could have done that they ended up not doing. Where they kind of set it up in the story to make you think one thing, but then they never really came through and delivered on that. And so the way that wrapped up was kind of disappointing to me, and the ending that I chose was just useless. It was just an easy way for them to finish the game up real quick without doing any like additional cutscene work or anything interesting at the end.
I think that we have to go and do the other ending to see if maybe we're missing something.
Yeah, I do need to do the other ending for sure, but like, I mean, if you're going to have two endings to a game, make them both good. Like, make them both worth seeing. Like, this ending the ending that I chose, which I guess is the good ending.
Well, the heroic.
The heroic ending or whatever. Like, it was just useless. Like,
most heroic endings are kind of.
No, that's not even true. There are so many good guy endings that are.
Saints Row 3. Or the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one where you had a good ending where you did the right thing.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the end of the game.
Yeah.
You had to then, choose the other one, do the game again, do that area again, and then...
And it was worth seeing both endings on that game. Like, there was a good reason to play both endings because they were both good.
Was it Gangstas in Space type of thing? You got that which was... That was worth it, and then you go back and... take down the what was it, the
big statue or the airplane.
Yeah, it was like a helicarrier type thing. Yeah, you take that down.
Yeah, you take that down, and that was great. But I've just been playing all that kind of stuff. Dug out the PSP and played a little Gran Turismo on there because random racing games are fun. I guess
racing games stink.
Stick to your own genres over there, man.
Wow,
that's hurtful.
But yeah, I don't know. It's been a silly week because of SimCity, and just the anger that I've had from paying $60 and not being able to play a game for 3 days is pretty substantial. And it's not the first time it's happened, but
it sounds like
it just seems the nature of the problem they're having is something that is 100% avoidable.
Yeah, it sounds like you're reliving any launch of a net-based Blizzard game in the last decade. I mean, I remember when World of Warcraft came out, it was hard to play, servers were clogged up. I mean,
but the way that they handle it, like they are upfront about it. They're like, here's what's going on. We expect either you're going to hear from us or a resolution by X time.
But EA's not delivering it all.
EA's not doing any of that. They're posting, like, maybe once a day on their forums, like, some guy saying, oh, well, the servers are having problems. Really? The servers are having problems? I know that. You don't need to post that. You need to say, hey, this is what we're doing to fix that problem. Hang in there. At 6 o'clock, we'll have another update for you to either say that everything's fixed or...
It sounds like you just need a hug.
Oh,
I just want to sim a city. That's all I want to do. I
want a chance to screw over.
I want to put down roads. I want to send some electricity to some houses. I want to filter a big poop funnel out in the middle of nowhere and then build houses around it.
I always thought the purpose of the sim games were to just build something just so you can destroy it. That's what I remember.
Exactly. I want to unleash zombies on my city.
Can you do that now?
Yeah, they have zombies. Like,
come on.
The commercials make it look so fun, and
I know.
They didn't release it to advertise the game. They released it to taunt you because you bought $60 and all these fun things you can't do.
I know. That's why I really feel there's like somebody there's like a room full of people at EA sitting there going just this is awesome. Look at all these idiots trying to play this game. It's so funny. We're never gonna fix these servers.
Well played, EA. Well played.
Like it's just the way that they're handling it is so bad. Like Blizzard, yeah, they've had a lot of problems every time they've launched any game ever. And I'm sure on Tuesday, when StarCraft 2 comes out, there's going to be some kind of problem that prevents me from playing it immediately.
My only problem with that is that I don't like the fact that I have to go through Battle.net to play it. I just want to be able to install a game and play it. But now I have to...
Oh, I absolutely agree. And like that's everybody's form of DRM. Like everybody's got their own way of doing like their DRM stuff. And yeah, I understand that. I knew going in that this SimCity was going to be multiplayer centric. Like it's designed so that you're working with other people in your area to like accomplish common goals, and like each of your cities kind of feed off of one another.
Can you wage war?
No, you cannot wage war.
Game's garbage. Don't play it.
Well, don't worry, I haven't played it yet.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Oh,
That won't be an issue, actually. I don't think there's many people playing it. But, yeah, just the way they're handling it is poor. They need to do a better job. I really, really like the way that this game has gone, and I've enjoyed what I've seen other people playing it on Twitch TV. If you're out there and you know how to play the game, how to get past the server issues, let me know, because apparently somebody knows how, because they're playing.
It might take some black magic.
Maybe it does. Maybe I just have to go plug my line directly into EA, and I don't know.
wow.
But that's, yeah.
Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and all that fun stuff.
Fix your games, people.
All right, Steve, what are you doing?
This week, the most notable thing I've been doing is I got the new Citadel DLC for Mass Effect 3.
I've heard great things.
I can honestly say that it appeals to all audiences of the game. I mean, there's the plot, against Shepard, but the whole crew goes out for shore leave, and there is actually a lot of comedic value in this expansion, because it's Shepard hanging out with his friends when they're supposed to just be off duty and things like that. And you go through the main event, and there's actually a part where some bad guy mocks Shepard. And Shepard's like, do I really sound like that? It's kind of interesting, because it's making fun of the relatively bad voice actor for Shepard as a male.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite
Oh
story.
yeah. And he's like, and he goes through saying the same sentence in like 3 different inflections, and like, Rex is like, well, I just assumed that all humans sounded like that. And Shepard's like all sad about it, but they get the Normandy back, they fix the problem, and then the major part of the DLC after that is hanging out with your friends on the Citadel. I mean, you'll get messages. Anderson gives you his apartment on the Suncoast Strip, and you go down, and there's an arcade. You can play all kinds of different games. There's a casino. You can play all different kinds of games. There's a combat simulator, which basically gives you single-player access to the multiplayer type thing. You set up like challenges and who you want to fight and how hard you want the enemies to be, and you can pick 2 of your squad mates once you get them all unlocked. Of course, I picked Rex and Grunt to fight with, because they just steamroll everything. And it was a lot of fun.
Wait, you can play Grunt's playable? I mean,
if you go into the combat simulator, you pick 2 of your squad mates, and he's part of the people that you hang out with on shore leave. There's actually a part where they addressed what he does when he was all beat up after the Rachni event in,
Was Miranda there too, or no?
Yeah. If she doesn't...
if she doesn't die.
If she doesn't die in a certain part of the game, which I don't want to spoil for a lot of people, but I kind of just did. But anyway, so they give you calls and you hang out with them, and there's a part where, Caden, if he's alive in your game, and since I prefer him vastly to, complaining Ashley...
I prefer him to be vastly dead.
In
my
the beginning of 3, Ashley... well, in the beginning of Mass Effect 3, Ashley was like, Shepard, you work for Cerberus, Shepard. Shepard, you work for Cerberus. And you're just like, shut up, woman. And like Caden was like, we cool? And I was like, yeah, we're definitely cool. I was like, and then I went back, I got a save game editor, and was like, undo Ashley alive, make Caden alive, make Ashley dead. I was like, Caden's infinitely a cooler character in this game. But there's a part where he's talking because he's from Canada, and he's like, he's tired of going out to dinner. He wants to cook some food, and he's like, well, we have. And he's like, oh, you're gonna. Shepard's like, oh, you're gonna cook. It's like, what are we doing? He's like, you're just gonna help me drink some beer. It's like, sit down. It's like, we've got beef, we've got bacon. We've got beer. It's like, these are the foods of my people, Shepard. It's like, I'll see what I can do. And I got to laugh about, a lot of it. And you throw a party, and
that seems good and ridiculous.
Yeah,
and not like anything else.
And there's a touching moment at the end when you're all going back to the Normandy and all your friends. You take a group photo, which is really cool. After you're able to customize the apartment and stuff, and you're all just standing there, and you talk about like, maybe this is the last time we'll see each other. Maybe the last time, it takes place like after everything and before you go attack the not the collectors, but the Cerberus base.
Yeah.
So I did that 3 different times for all the 3 different flavors of Shepard that I have, and it's different with the different love interests. I suggested if you are a Tali-Sora Vast Normandy fan, do not play the DLC. She sings in it, and it's awful. It made me sad. Aside from that, let's see, I watched Being Human, the US version on Monday. That was a pretty good episode. I watched, I went back and watched an old show that I watched in the early 90s, in the late 90s, and the early 2000s called Lex. It's a Canadian BBC
I remember
thing.
that show.
It
was so weird.
Equally as ridiculous still. let's see. I played a lot of PlanetSide 2. Oh, and I watched the movie Sims. Yeah, the movie's awful. Not awful, but awful as in scared the crap out of me. I was initially going to watch it with my girlfriend at like late at night, and then it would have been like 11:30, 12 o'clock when I got home, and I thought to myself, that's probably not a good thing. Since from what I heard, the movie starts out on a very eerie and disturbing note, and ends on a very eerie and disturbing note. The midst of the film is creepy and full of the typical bad decision tropes of a antagonist. It's pro-antagonist. It's starring Ethan Hawke. He does pretty good in the film. He plays a struggling crime writer, writing crime books and stuff. Sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not. They move into a house where a grisly murder happened because he thinks it'll help him write his next book. And
First mistake.
Awful mistake. There's never, in the history of movies and media, there has never been anything good of moving into the same house that a bad murder happened. I mean, look at Amityville, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
But, so he goes up, and there's a picture of what the attic looks like, and it's freaking empty. And he goes up there, and there's, sitting in the middle of it is a box of, Super 8mm videos. And he starts watching them. And they're about
which is another
the
bad
grisly,
idea.
yeah, the grisly death of the family members, and it's of different families, and he's sitting there, and he's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, the whole time I'm like, "Why are you doing this? You saw these people like burn and die, and it's lo and behold, oddly enough, bad things start happening to him once he starts finding out what's going on with this whole thing, and it eventually ends up to a really bad climax, and it's just it's a good film. The reason why I like the ending so much is because it was not a happy one.
No, it was not.
I'm really sick and tired of movies where people make bad decisions and they get off scot-free. That's like Empire Strikes Back, for instance. The bad guys win. Great movie. Okay, this is one of those horror films where people do the wrong thing when handling a supernatural entity, and it eats their face, and that's the way it works.
Paranormal Activity.
Paranormal Activity. Don't get me started on that crap shit. Scary movie, but it's full of, demonology. If a demonologist tells you, folks, if he says, don't antagonize it, don't communicate it, don't talk to it, it's like, don't do anything. Just leave it alone, because your negative energy feeds it. Don't do those things.
Go get a Ouija board.
Oh yeah, let's go get a Ouija board.
No,
let's call it out and antagonize
That's
it.
the next thing you do. You get a Ouija board and just start, going,
Hey, you there? And don't forget to leave your kid
I found this
alone on the other
copy
side
of
of
the
the house.
Necronomicon.
in the
Should we
script.
start reading from it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Actually, that's another thing. I watched a lot of commentary and stuff on the next Evil Dead film as well,
looks good.
and it looks amazing. I'm a little sad that Bruce Campbell's nothing to do with it, but then again, to make it a serious film, he had to stay far away.
I've seen the original Evil Dead, and
I've seen both, and they're great.
I do not care for what I've seen of the new one, just because that's not my type of horror film, like the super gore,
But
for gore's sake.
well, then again, in the first one, there was a part where some guy got sucked into the basement, and a fountain of blood shot out of the trap door for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
There's not even enough
But that's
blood
the kind
in
of
like 6 human bodies.
that's the kind of ridiculous, like silly stuff that is okay.
That's
But
what makes
like,
it a good film.
the way that they do stuff now, though, and like the realism that they're able to achieve with a lot of their practical effects, I don't care for that.
True. Aside from that, I played a lot of the free-to-play stuff. I've been checking that out for you guys. I'm going to have some articles up soon. PlanetSide 2, definitely got to check that out if you like Battlefield and you like... I've been playing as the Vanu Sovereignty because they have laser guns, and laser guns don't have bullet drop, so when you're sniping people, you don't have to worry about it, and you can just shoot them in the face, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds way better than using
yeah.
bullets.
Hover tanks, all kinds of great stuff. I highly recommend it. It's free to play. It's Sony Online Entertainment. I mean, you unlock stuff through the game. That too. And it's pretty good. Like, there's 3 different factions. They each have their different pros and cons, but at the same time, Mech Warrior Online, I highly suggest it if you like robots that shoot guns and rockets and lasers and stuff. You check that out.
I finally downloaded that because I was flipping through stuff on Twitch TV yesterday, and I came across a dude that was streaming that, and that game looks absolutely insane.
What it is they put it for any of you that follow the MechWarrior timeline, the timeline to the day when they released the game was a year from the time that the clans invade. Okay? So the day that the game was released this year is when they'll release the first expansion, which is when all the Omnimechs and the clans and the stuff you remember, like the Warbirds and the Kodiaks and all that kind of stuff comes out, and it's going to be super good. Like, because right now you don't have Omnimechs.
There's a mech that's coming out this month that's a big deal, the Jaeger.
Oh, the Jaeger,
It's coming out this month.
I mean, my friend runs around in a stalker. It looks like a duck, and he uses PPCs, which shoot lightning, so we call it the Thunder Duck.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Just the level of customization for your loadouts and everything. Like, it seems really nice.
I mean, it's all got the free-to-play stuff, so you can take real money and buy the mech currency and, like, get all this extra stuff where you can actually just earn it straight up. You unlock new paint schemes, different colors. You can buy different weapons, new engines, all kinds of stuff. So, I run a Centurion with all kinds of lasers and stuff. I run a Brawler, so I get up in your face and I pelt you with rockets and lasers. And it's actually quite gratifying when you go up against a bigger mech and you just knock the snot out of it, just core it, blow its arms off. There's a guy that before I was done with him, he had nothing left. I blew off both of his arms and watched him explode. And then I got taken out, so my Centurion fell down right next to his. So when you zoom out in the third person mode, there's 2 dead Centurions like laying next to each other. It was pretty epic. I mean, there's been some really crazy things, like you'll just walk through hails of missiles. I recommend that game. Aside from that, Mass Effect has taken up most of my time. And a little bit of art. That's all I've been doing this week. Sorry for the long talk.
That's all right.
Well, he had a really long rant. So.
I had a long rant.
SimCity. Anyone ever play that?
Oh, by the way, we have a guest.
No, I haven't.
His name's Ian. Ian?
Well, yeah.
In retrospect, we should have started with Ian.
You know what? I gotta say this. One of our trustees fell asleep because he does suffer from narcolepsy. Fair enough. And he's gonna get nerfed next time. So, I'm just warning you, man.
He almost got nerfed this time.
That's what that click was.
He just thought back to last week when I got shot in the face.
I wasn't aiming for your face, but you know.
Oh, the love. So, really, what are you doing?
Well, if we're talking this past week, there's not been too much going on here in the world of all this media that we're discussing.
Well, I tell you what, since you've not been on before, if you want to go back...
In life? What have I done in life?
Even a month.
Last month. Well, again, my big things... video games, I used to be real big on video games, but a couple years ago my Xbox broke, and also, don't have really time for that anymore anyway, so I've just finally got, this past Christmas, got an Xbox again, and got a 3DS. The only games I've really been able to really deal with since then are actually a little different from your guys' normal ones, but on the Xbox it came with the Skylanders. I understand, Eli, you were
I have all of the Skylanders.
That game is actually strangely, and I will say it is extremely addicting.
Yep.
It is brilliant in a marketing sort of term. It's like Pokemon to the next level, I would say.
Yeah. If they ever do that with Pokemon, I'm completely screwed because I do not want to buy 649 Pokemon.
But you will.
But I will.
But you will.
Yeah, I mean, I really would like to see a Pokemon on a console for change. It makes a big difference.
You know what? I would like to see a Pokemon on a console.
But
they're getting so close with the Y and X and Y that's coming out this fall. It's the closest to a 3D Pokemon game. They're teasing it. They're one step away from finally doing a massively online game, which is what this game would be perfect for.
That would be hilarious.
That would be awesome. Just be able to run around with other people and chase after little.
I would make my own team, and I would run around and the whole purpose would be to crush children and be like, "Do you have a mic? I want to hear you cry. I beat the crap out of you."
Well, it'll be.
I already feel like that when I battle online on like Black and White 2. Like I already
crushed
feel
your
bad.
Charizard. What are you gonna do now? One-shotted.
I already feel bad because I just imagine this little like 6-year-old kid like, "Mom, this guy is. I lost real bad."
And he looks just like Ash. With
Yeah.
the hat.
Yeah, he's wearing the hat. He's
That's
like,
one of the reasons.
He has a little
got a
mushroom crack come
Pikachu.
out of his face, like.
he's got a little Pikachu plush sitting there. And he's like, "Mom, this guy like he's
Cries
got all
himself
the
to sleep.
legendaries and he just destroys me in one hit. I can't do anything."
Or he's cussing at you because children are vile now.
Yeah, they're probably not saying
he's
they're
kicking your
mom.
butt.
I used to do the trading card game with Pokemon, and I'd go to the gym battle events, and it would give me satisfaction to crush the 12-year-olds.
What is wrong with you?
That's amazing.
That was so him.
Well, they're like, I got this crazy Charizard that I got from this crazy set, and you're like, really? And it's like, that's sad because I've got this Blastoise.
I got a magic card.
Oh,
Magic cards.
Splash. But yeah, the Skylanders, that game, strangely addicting. I didn't go all out and buy all of them
Yeah.
because I don't have any money.
Now, are your kids old enough to play that?
No,
with you
they
or
don't
not?
know this game exists.
Oh, okay.
I play it when they go to bed. I grab my Skylanders and go downstairs. I don't dare let them see it because those things will be eaten.
Yeah,
chewed,
yeah,
and
Well
that's true.
played.
Yep.
they will not.
They will not make it
see
through the day.
No, they don't know that. Actually, they don't know that the Xbox works. I
Oh.
switched it. They know that the Xbox that was there
And broken.
is something that was broken, so they don't know. Even
Oh.
though it's the new model now, they don't
Very
know that it
sneaky.
works. I don't even have it plugged in, so they can't accidentally turn it on like they can everything
Very
else.
sneaky.
real quick, is your Xbox one of the first generation models?
Mine was.
Yeah, your old one.
Right.
The broken one. Is the disk drive still working it?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Okay.
'Cause
Not right now.
You're
while
gonna
we're recording.
Frankenstein it?
Yes, I am, because I have one that the only problem is the disc.
He needs to harvest some organs.
I need a harvester more.
Well, see, my problem with mine is that I would love to be able to figure out the solution for is I can't get my profile over to my new one because the Red Ring of Death, that whole thing happened, and
yeah.
I have my profile saved on my memory card. It doesn't work on the new version. You can't plug it in there.
Yeah.
So I
You can't do a recovery?
Well,
I've tried that, and apparently from the last time when I had my Xbox working till now, they've gone from having your password being like up, down, left, right to now being an actual password.
Yeah.
So it asked me for my password. I don't have a
It's
password.
your live ID password now.
I have no idea what that
Yeah.
is. I've hit the forgot my password, and it says, "Let's send you an email." I can't
Well, I was
figure it
going to
out.
say, I could
Yeah.
actually let you
don't get
borrow
it.
my really old 360 that's like the one you have now. The disk drive doesn't work. Everything else works beautifully. So if it's stuck on there,
You
can
can
take
transfer it,
you can
yeah.
take a thumb drive, plug it in, plug the old memory card in.
Transfer
That'd
it
be
to the
great
thumb drive
because
and then...
that's another reason. I mean, I have all these old Xbox games. Anything that's like more than 3 years old, I've got a good group of those, and I just don't have it in me to start everything all over again.
see, I understand. I feel your pain because I've had that happen when I was playing back in the PlayStation 2 era. My mom unplugged the PlayStation while and it fragged my memory card,
Nice.
Oh.
and I lost like
Oh,
3 years worth of saved games, and I was like, I really could. I want to. Because I took it over a friend's house and I was like, man, I'm going to show you this crazy armor core I built, and this I'll show you. And I was like,
yeah.
It's not even so much that. Also, there's all the
Where
stuff
did it
I've
go?
bought, all my
Oh, yeah,
all my
yeah.
games and my
Yeah.
download stuff that I've purchased.
That's locked
I'm
to
not
that
going to rebuy it
profile.
again.
Yeah.
I want to. I have this strange inkling. I want to play the Marble Blast Ultra again, and I'm not going to buy it all over again.
Well, you also have didn't you buy a bunch of Rock Band music?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not that I have any chance to play
May
that.
you
I can't
rest
go to
in
sleep. I
peace,
can't go
you
downstairs and
trendy
whip
jerk.
out the guitar and drums. But
Because they
yeah.
destroy that
I still would
too.
like to be able to have access to that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, someday, you'll have the
Right.
room. So
And that's one reason why I haven't really been doing a lot of the Xbox stuff, because I feel like I'm going to start building up some save games and get some experience up, and then I'm going to figure out a way to get all my stuff back, and then just wiping all that out.
I would like to have an Xbox just so I could play Halo, but
See, I'm the
At
one
this
Xbox
point in the
person
game,
that
it's not
doesn't care
worth
about
it just for Halo.
No. There's two.
I'm not a
right
Halo
there.
person. I've beat the first one, and
well, all the single player games that I really want to play are on PlayStation. That's why I got one. But the Xbox network is a little more sturdy nowadays. It was good it was good right out of the box, and
Mech Assault.
yeah. So I just really want to. I love playing Halo when I go over to my friends. That's why I have an Xbox Live account active, and I just like to do that at the homestead. I like to log in and shoot some Protheans or some 8-year-old kids trying to.
See, I
be
hate
sweet.
shooting Protheans. Get those guys out of there. Just give me regular Covenant.
Dude, a stealth kill to the Prothean is way sweet.
A little hard to do,
who
but
mentioned
yeah.
Halo?
I Do you see that shrine to Halo up there? You got the Master Chief head. You got the
And the Jay and Silent Bob behind it.
ODST. Got
That's definitely Halo right there.
Blunt Man and Chronic hanging out with Halo.
I had nowhere else to put Silent Bob. All right, I'm redoing everything. I got to make more room for books, and I moved out. For those who don't know, I basically turned a large room into a studio, but I had to rearrange things, and that meant some things had to go and some things had to move, and
Is that a fully functional Master Chief helmet or just a bust?
It's small.
No, that's the bust. That's the
It's fully
Halo
functional
3
if you're
Legendary
8.
Edition.
yeah, Halo 3 Legend. What you do is you pick it up, and there's a slot like this big in it, and then that's where the game is, and whatever DLC came with it,
Pass.
and all that stuff.
If you can't wear it, it's not worth having. Like when I got the
back then
Dead Space
it was worth
2, when I got the Dead Space 2 special edition, and I was like, it comes with a replica cutter and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, I was so pumped, and then I got it, and it was this little dinky
It's
thing.
real tiny.
And that it just has 3 points of light. It was like a glorified flashlight, and I was like, I feel robbed. So then I just
Sounds like the Arkham Asylum Collector's Edition that was supposed to come with a freaking sweet Batarang.
and it came with
And it came with a giant chunk of plastic, like permanently attached to the
How am I
stand it
supposed
was
to
on.
fight crime with this?
Yeah,
I was like, I can't kill Necromorphs with a tiny little knight, so
Well,
I just popped in the soundtrack and rocked out to creepy ambient noise.
the nice thing about that, well, it's not the nice thing. I should say
It holds down paper real well.
it came out in 2007. So this is before we started getting into the giant collector's
it was
editions.
the first one. It was the first giant collector's edition.
I haven't bought a giant collector's edition. I almost bought the Skyrim one because I wanted the giant dragon statue. Then I thought, where am I going to put a giant dragon statue? So I did. What could I? I was like, well, the amount of money it takes to upgrade to a special edition, like a special collector's edition. I was like, man, that's a tank of gas.
It's another game.
Yeah, it's almost another video game. So I was like, I really wanted a replica of Death's Mask from Darksiders 2. And I was like, man, because I'd wear that around everywhere because it's amazing.
I'm Death. I'm Death.
I'd just get a hoodie on and be like, what's up, But, and then I was like, you know what, I just bought a second game instead.
Well, I know it's silly to get those giant collector's editions, but I was working at GameStop at the time as a store manager, so I got 20 or 15% off.
Okay,
So
that's a good excuse.
I didn't pay full
it is a
price.
really good, it's a really cool looking piece, and I would actually think that you should not put something in front of it because it's cool to look at.
No,
unfortunately, he doesn't have the Reach one out. That one is
I do have that,
one
though.
is that one was definitely worth it. That was worth every penny.
You get was it 5 figurines, 5 or 6?
Yeah.
And then
it was really well done.
I also have the Gears of War 3 one, the legendary, or it wasn't legendary. What was it called?
Epic,
I don't know.
Super
The
Bowl.
Epic
Yeah,
Edition.
it's Epic Edition. And those are the 3 games that I've done that for. And the only one that I haven't that I wish I had was Borderlands 2.
Now, my friend did the super special collector's edition for Assassin's Creed 3 for the PS3, and you get this really sweet Assassin's belt buckle.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I was like, unless it has something cool like that, where I'd be like, I'd wear that, or I'd hang out with that, just put that on my. If it doesn't have something cool, I'm like, do I really want to pay $30 extra for a belt buckle? And I was like, no, but
pricing-
it looks really good. I'll
The
just get
pricing
replica
for
off
the
eBay.
the Injustice Collector's Edition that's coming up is decent. It's $100 and you get a nice. I don't know if it's Sideshow Collectibles, but it's somebody, or maybe it's just DC Direct, but you get a nice sculpture with Batman and Wonder Woman on it, fighting.
Pass.
Are you reading the comics with
Pretty
that?
Yeah,
See, I honestly don't
Good.
know much about the game at all, but I've been reading all the
yeah.
I need to
issues
read
as they
those
come
comics.
out weekly, the digital version.
Oh, you've been doing the digital.
I've been doing digital. I don't
I've put 'em-
like doing the trade waiting or issue
Yeah.
waiting, I guess you would call it in this case here.
Yeah,
I always tend to end up being spoiled on things by the time it actually comes out, so I like to read it as fast as possible.
yeah. They've been really good. I've enjoyed the 2 issues because I've gotten the paperbacks.
I
Issue
think
2.
the game looks
so
pretty
far. It's
decent.
really
I mean, you can play Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty excited for that.
Smash.
It's powered by the Mortal Kombat engine.
NetherRealm.
whatever. Yeah, it's NetherRealm making it. Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. Their original idea of DC versus Mortal Kombat was awful.
It was fun though.
It was flawed.
It was fun,
Flawed
but
is a very, very.
It was.
it's good to see that they've taken it the next level and made Injustice. I'm really excited to
Because
play.
the first game was an injustice to all things on PC. It was awful.
Oh, before we get into that, because that's an hour conversation. I just wanted to say I went back and looked. SimCity was developed by several companies, Maxis being the primary.
Yeah.
Published, the first one by Broderbund.
Broderbund, that's who I was
Then
trying to think of.
Maxis also self-published with Broderbund.
Okay.
And then they self-published. And then you go into Nintendo.
I forgot about Broderbund.
Electronic
There's
Arts,
so much
Superior Software.
Broderbund stuff
Now,
in it.
the other thing, Origin Systems Inc. was a game company. They were founded in 1983 and defunct in 2004. Let's see, key people, Richard Garriott and Robert Garriott. Garriott sound
So what did
familiar?
they make?
Ultima, Wing Commander, Crusader, Strike Commander,
Wing Commander.
I can't
System
believe I didn't
Shock.
know who. Oh my gosh.
and Wings of Glory. Parent company EA. They closed them down and then brought the name back as Origin, the download system. So I remember
Ultima Online was my first online game.
it's old school. It's so old
So
school.
good.
That's why people, they're like Origin. Yeah, it's that thing on the thing, but they actually it's a big deal.
I still have my discs for Ultima Online.
You have to get a DOS box just to make it work, right?
No, I got CDs, so yeah.
Well, no, I mean are they DOS based or Windows based?
They're Windows based.
Oh.
They're early Windows based.
We're talking like 3.
3.1.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna. I don't even have them booted up, but it's like I have this big, thick player's guide because the game was so freaking complicated.
Yeah, it was.
It was fun though, except for when you were playing on a PvP realm and you're like, man, I just made this sweet suit of armor, and the dude runs out of the wilderness and just ganks you and takes your stuff and runs off.
Oh.
So Nathan, what have you been doing?
Let's see. I watched a new release this week was Lay the Favorite. It's based on a book by some woman. Her name is Beth something. I can't remember her last name suddenly. It's like Beth Hayner or something like that. It was a really weird concept. She basically went through all these horrible industries, like the porn industry, gambling industry, and that sort of thing. But the movie takes place at her last stint, which was she got into gambling. And she didn't get into blackjack or that sort of thing. We're talking like the professional bookies, that sort of thing. And in Vegas, it's different and it's legal, but you can't be called a bookie because that's illegal. But she worked for Bruce Willis, who was a bookie. Now, the woman that played the main character, Beth, is Rebecca Hall. And if you saw The Town, she was in that as the woman that gets abducted. She's a bank person, and then she falls in love with Ben Affleck. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, okay.
And she is in Iron Man 3. She is, I forget her name. She's a doctor. She was in the,
The Extremist.
Thank you. The Extremist arc. She plays that female doctor.
She's the doctor that's she was a friend of Tony Stark's back in college.
Mm-hmm. And
that was a really good arc for Iron Man.
She is an amazing actor. I can't wait to see her in that movie. In this movie, she played a ditz that was incredibly smart. Like, she could take a word, break it down, and alphabetize the letters instantly. So if you said, extremist, she could tell you, well, there's this many E's in the X. And,
she was kind of like a savant, but minus the Rain Man type stuff.
She was drop dead gorgeous.
See,
Also, just like Rain Man.
Yeah.
I find that very I find that with the concept you're talking about, it takes away from it because to have amazing qualities, there has to be a drawback. Kind of like, a real vampire cannot go in the sunlight, and they're repulsed by good and evil, and they have to drink blood. It's like
real vampires don't sparkle.
Yeah, but it's like there always has to be a drawback to amazing things.
Well, she had the drawback in inexperience and sometimes ditziness.
Kind of like Peter Parker, his drawback was life.
Yeah, kind of. Because she
Doesn't have to worry about that now.
She can do numbers off the top of her head, and she was amazing at it. And she was a good luck charm for Bruce Willis, and he's married to, or the person that plays his wife is Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Ooh.
So you're like, oh wow, I have this beautiful woman, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Bruce Willis, who's the man, and then who else was in that? Vince Vaughn.
Wow.
I know, right?
I've never heard of this movie. We're like, when did it come out?
Tuesday, and DVD. It limited release.
A lot of the celebrities are doing very indie films now because they have more creative input. and they're well done. That's
Okay,
why.
so they're going for limited release films where they have the ability to do more with them, as opposed to bigger films where they are ham-fisted into a role they're not exactly pleased with.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Contractually obligated comes into use a lot. Transformers.
I can understand that,
Matches probably a lot less.
The Avengers. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Chris Evans won out.
but I like the Avengers.
It's probably a lot easier on their schedule too. You'd imagine,
Oh,
bigger
yeah.
movies. They're constantly going on top shows and everywhere.
Yeah, the promotions.
Constantly promoting
yeah.
it.
Being
In smaller
a,
movies, more limited release. You're not going to have so much
Because being a
time.
millionaire celebrity is such a difficult,
Oh darn!
horrible thing.
I have to talk to people for 14 hours a day.
Oh darn!
No.
Let me
wait.
schedule that from my my private jet on my way to Malibu.
Yeah, Laura Prepon, who you may remember as Donna from That 70s Show, she's on it also. And
Wow.
this is an R-rated film. It's not for kids. And you'll find out why if you watch it.
Sounds like something I'm fantastically interested in.
Not that great of a movie. It was kind of meh at the ending.
Talk about 10 minutes.
been talking about
I'm gonna like talk this thing up, and then you're like, "That was crap."
It was so disappointing. No, it
So
wasn't.
it was
just
kind of like the ending of Mass Effect.
no, because
Or like trying to play SimCity.
no.
You're like, I can't wait to play this game.
Well, yeah, slightly.
Aw.
When am I gonna get to play SimCity?
Never. Now the other thing I watched,
Why are you so hateful?
the other thing I watched was Wreck-It Ralph. I went ahead and watched that in 3D.
Don't
I
tell
need to
me.
see that movie.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I'm just going to talk about the 3D
I
of
think
it.
the fact that it's a good movie is not exactly a spoiler.
I almost
Stop it
bought
before it
that.
happens.
Well, no, just these things I'm going to mention. They're alone from the trailers.
Right.
There's different worlds. There's the Sugar Rush world, which is really cool. There's the Wreck-It Ralph, or it's actually called Fix It Felix.
Fix It
world.
Felix is the world, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really cool. You get to see some of your favorite old school video game characters. Qbert has a big role.
Dude, Zangief is in that game.
Zangief's in it, and Bison's in it, but he's not like in it a bunch. Sonic is in it a little bit, and they use was it
Dr. Eggman.
is it Jaleel White? Is that his name?
Urkel?
Yeah,
Urkel.
Yeah,
is that
he
his
voiced
name?
him in the cartoon
Yeah,
series,
Yeah,
Jaleel
I think they use him
He was Sonic's voice.
as Sonic in this also.
Cartoons.
which was actually one of the better reiterations of the cartoon.
And you know what? It was great. It has. All right, I'm gonna say this. If you had the opportunity to take your child to this, but thought it was inappropriate or stupid, you're a bad parent. Period. Now, if you decide to stay home and save money and buy it on DVD or Blu-ray,
3D.
that's different.
So you can keep it forever and ever.
Right, that's different. But if you're like, I'm going to look at these films. Let's see. Was it Hotel Transylvania or Wreck-It Ralph? Well, this one was made by Adam Sandler, so it's got to be hilarious. This one was just made by the people that did Tangled.
Tangled and
That's all I
and
got.
Bolt and Meet the Robinsons.
To be fair, I hated Bolt.
Chicken Little.
I'm not a dog
You are
owner. I'm not a
Miley
dog owner.
Cyrus.
Yeah,
Bolt
don't-
was hilarious.
The hamster.
Yeah, Bolt was really
Rhino
good.
was a good kid, but
Rhino,
the
that's
whole
right.
thing about
Tangled was great, though.
Tangled.
Meet the Robinsons was great, too.
I
I
think
love
It's
Meet
super
Robinsons.
fun.
Tangled is Tangled to me signified the rejuvenation of Disney. Under Eisner's control, it withered like a dying flower, and then it rose from the ashes like a beautiful phoenix to make amazing new films. And then about Star Wars, so it's a good thing.
Well, you said Phoenix, and then it merged with the X-Men to create Avengers versus X-Men.
and we got the Dark
then-
Phoenix thing
wait,
going
what?
on.
What? No. But it was outstanding.
Holy
Great.
crap! What if that's actually going to be a movie
What are we even talking about anymore?
Awesome.
and
That's
like
not gonna
12
happen.
hours long?
That's not going to happen.
It'd be so worth it.
We all know that 20th Century Fox has to burn to the ground before they're letting go of that license.
But be done.
No, Disney has the powerful lawyers.
I would love to see.
No, see,
I
it's the
would
same
love to see
reason
it go
why
back. Spider-Man.
most of
wanted to go back.
the Square
Not gonna happen.
Squaresoft titles were stuck to Nintendo because Nintendo had the publishing license, and they wouldn't let it go. Like all the other systems were
jerks.
like, please.
For a long
Squaresoft was like,
time.
we'd like our stuff back so we can share it with the world and make money off it. Which really they just want to make money, but I would like. And then eventually they let it go, but it's 20th Century Fox. They're not going to let it go. I
Nope.
mean,
How I wonder what their contracts really are, though. Like, is it? I know that
You
they have
have
to
to
keep
make a
make a movie
movie.
within a
it's
certain
a
amount of
script.
time.
It is.
But is it
It is a
ongoing?
really old piece of parchment, and it's signed in
Well,
blood.
they lost Daredevil because they gave
Which
up,
is great.
They gave up Daredevil to keep
Good.
Fantastic Four.
Right.
I'm not sure that's a good trade.
I think the whole thing with having them having them have to produce like a movie every so often, that's a newer thing. Like a lot of those older contracts, I don't think work that way.
Well, it was that back in '94 with the Fantastic Four. That's the entire reason why that.
Yeah,
it's basically they get publishing. They own the intellectual property, and they own the right to make more movies about it for a certain period of time, so they can milk it for merchandise and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to use it, you got to pay them, and then after the time period's up, they give it back, and then someone else can probably make a better movie after they've run it.
So that's what I'm wondering, because I know there's the part about you have a certain amount of time to make a movie. If you don't make a Fantastic Four movie within so many years after the last one, the rights automatically go back.
Yeah.
But is there also not some point where it says, this was good for 20 years also?
Yeah.
Where after a certain amount of point they said, now we have to talk again. No matter, I know you just made one last year, but we've got to talk about this and we got to
They have to make one is like every so many years.
It's going to be every, like, I think it's every like 2 or 3 years.
You know, I hope they can make a good... If they do decide to make another Daredevil movie, I hope it's good. What made Ben Affleck an alright Daredevil to me, don't hate, is because he enjoys the character.
I liked him.
The movie was good, and then they took it in the bad directions.
The director's cut is actually satisfying.
Way better.
Yeah.
The director's cut is the only version in my mind.
Really.
I didn't really... But it's like... The movie was alright, and then... But they traded it for Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four was...
Sucked.
It was bad. And then the second one was worse. And, like, the first one was okay, but it was like...
Galactus is a cloud.
Well,
The cloud
Galactus was a cloud of bug robots, and that's actually part of... Wasn't that the
Ultimate Universe, yeah.
I did enjoy that, but then again, how could... Imagine a giant man in a purple suit with a satellite dish on his face.
He's like a giant Hawkeye.
Okay.
He's like a giant Hawkeye coming to eat your planet.
Okay. You watched Transformers, the animated film. You know, the good movie.
Or are you talking about Prime, the really good series?
No.
That one's awesome.
No, that's great.
G1 Transformers.
G1 Transformers
with
is embarrassing.
Unicron?
Okay, with Unicron. Do you remember? Did you watch that film?
He's a giant face.
No, he is.
Right, those are the...
No, he was a giant face at a time. That's after he dies, and then there's the return of Optimus, where that's a base for people, his head. But at one point in the film, he just takes his hand. He's a moon. He looks like a robotic Saturn, basically.
Yeah,
and then he turns into
the twin of Primus.
Right, he turns into a giant robot, and then he just takes his hand and goes, crushes, like a city with his palm on Cybertron. And that was awesome, and that's what I want to see with, Galactus doing something epic like that, where he just goes, city explodes.
That definitely would have been better.
Yeah,
it would have been way better.
I am with you, though, because I watched that, and I was like, wow, it's a cloud. But then with the
a giant purple
thinking,
man.
Really... If they went... It's one of those things that just won't translate. I really don't see it translating from comics to live-action film. I said the same thing, though, about Ghost Rider. And yes, the movies themselves may be horrible, but Ghost Rider...
It can't translate.
How he looks.
It can't translate. He looked good. Like, Ghost Rider looked good, but the movies themselves were
bad.
Right.
Two especially. My gosh.
I didn't even
What's up with
I
Nick
didn't know
Cage's
they made
hair?
it. I didn't know they made a second movie because
It was
I blanked it from my mind because
Good on
it's
you.
awful.
Awful.
One word, abomination. I was gonna buy it. I wanted the 3D at some point. It was all terrible. It was just so bad. I don't understand how that movie came to be. Oh yeah, it's from the guys that made Crank 1, 2, and Gamer, and they keep letting these guys make movies. Gamer was okay. Crank 1 was okay.
Crank 1 was good for what it was. It was another excuse for Jason Statham to run around and shoot people in the face.
But did you see Crank 2?
I did not wish to see that movie.
So bad. Gamer was okay, but parts of it made me go, this is dumb. I don't want to watch this anymore. And then they took that ridiculous in-your-face action where it's like, whoa, crazy action, and then made Ghost Rider 2, and it was just ridiculous.
It was awful.
He's fire, though.
And I think
That shut your face.
Since Ghost Rider 2 bombed so bad, I think that
they're gonna let it go.
They're gonna let that go.
Which would be great.
Ghost Rider 1 wasn't awful, but it still had its problems. But I didn't like the way that the Ghost Rider 2's bike looked, and the part where he beat fire.
It was
and,
cheap.
that kind of thing.
Ghost Rider 2 was cheap.
I want a really good Ghost Rider film. I want a good Daredevil film. It's like nowadays we have so many good superhero movies, and we're still weeding out the bad ones. Why? It's kind of like Resident Evil, for instance. The Resident Evil films, though they are just an excuse to put Mia Jovovich and her hotness on the big screen, and make ridiculous things. But why do they keep letting him make films? Almost every film he's made is kind of meh.
It's kind of a package deal though, because he's married to the chick, so
Yeah.
that's a
Or
package
it's kind of
deal.
like kind of like with the Underworld movies.
Yeah, they're married.
Yeah, but at the same time, stop making bad movies.
I have Awakening. It's not that great. It
It's not
basically,
amazing.
you know what? If you took out Mia Jovovich, or I'm sorry, if you took out
Knightley.
and put in Mia Jovovich,
It'd be the same film
it would just be Resident Evil. I don't. Yeah.
with werewolves.
I am happy though that we have Punisher, we've got Daredevil, and now we've got Blade back in Marvel's hands.
That's
Which
good.
is awesome.
We're
Which
in the right direction.
this is what I've always wanted. I want like I don't know what they would call it. This is just my nickname, Marvel Knights of New York or something like that, where you've got these guys that are not ultra powerful. They're usually loners.
Street level.
Yeah, put Luke Cage in there, put Iron Fist in there.
Heroes for hire.
How awesome would that be?
They're planning a Heroes for Hire movie. They are. They want a Heroes for Hire movie.
Well, apparently Planet Hulk isn't real, so...
No, that's not real.
Wait, what?
Joss
Yeah.
Whedon-
Oh, I tell you, hold on. You know what, guys? Let's just skip to news. Let's just do this. We're going to go official now.
Oh, well,
I mean, like, this is the news.
Wait, you
Official
dropped that No
news!
Planet Hulk on me and then you switched to news?
yeah.
I know. Break it down for me.
There was a big deal on. I think it was Latino Review said there was a leak that there was going to be a Planet Hulk movie.
That was a good
They were
animated show
saying that
and a good
they were
comic book.
saying that it was going to be part of the Avengers 2. It was going to focus on like the Planet Hulk.
Avengers 2,
Joss-
World War Hulk would be
Joss-
an amazing film.
Joss Whedon laughed that off. He said no.
Well, the original thing that I saw was basically Avengers 2 was going to deal with Thanos, and then at the end, they're going to shoot Hulk into space.
Yeah.
And then they're going to do a Planet Hulk movie, and then it's going to be World War Hulks for Avengers 3.
Right.
That's how we all thought it was going to
That'd be-
Which would be
That's
great.
how we
Pretty
all
great.
were,
But
loving it.
you can do it, but at the same time, you need Mr. Fantastic,
And you need Doctor Strange.
and you need Doctor.
And you need
Well,
everyone else that the Hulk comes back to destroy.
Is Doctor Strange Phase 2?
He's somewhere in Phase 2, or
Or
maybe
maybe Phase
might be
3?
late Phase 3.
Okay.
Because I know
No Illuminati.
Ant-Man is late Phase 3.
Okay.
But yeah, but
Ant-Man has-
and it'll need Professor X. You can't do a Planet Hulk movie.
There's no Illuminati. It would just
There's no
be
Illuminati.
Tweaks.
It'd
I
be
mean, you
Tony
can't do it
Stark.
straight out of the comics,
Well-
but I mean,
yeah, you
tweak
can do it,
Illuminati.
but
It's got too much of a stretch. It would
Yeah.
probably end up being an awful film. But I would love to see. Like, I enjoyed the Planet Hulk animated show.
Yep.
Yeah, it
the
was
movie
amazing.
the movie was good. I read the comics and I read World War Hulk and it was just great. And I thought to myself, this would be fun as a movie, but at the same time, it'd be hard to do because the rights to the intellectual property are all over the place.
exactly.
So
Okay. Well,
I think they could probably fix it up there a little bit. I mean, instead of the Illuminati, they could just have the Avengers. I mean, it wouldn't be right out of the comic books, but they could have the Avengers sitting around a table and say, you know what, he's just too dangerous. And
I would like
shoot
to
him off.
see them
Which would
start up
suck
the
it.
X-Men movies again, and then eventually do X-Men versus Avengers as a movie. But before that, I would love to see a series of movies centered around House of M. I think that would be
House of M
amazing.
would be Beast.
It'd be great, but I don't see that happening ever.
No.
Unfortunately, even though it's such a great arc, but I don't. I would like to see X-Men versus Street Fighter the movie.
Yeah. Yes. You keep dreaming that dream.
Why?
So that I can see.
They just need to dig up, Van Damme to play Guile again, man.
think
We
they're
got
putting it
business.
for the amalgam movies.
Bison.
I just want to see. What was it? Ryu and Cyclops doing their finishers at the same time, or their power moves at the same time, and then ruling everyone on the screen. Because that's what I would always do. I would just destroy.
No,
them.
because all you need was Cable. Cable was the cheapest character in the Marvel vs. Capcom game.
Which one
Marvel
are you
vs.
playing,
Capcom 2? Cable was dirt cheap.
Three, he wasn't bad, but,
2, he was ridiculous.
Well,
they
yeah,
they balanced them out.
sadly
Agreed.
enough.
Yeah, I know. I love.
You're like, I love being cheap with this guy, and then, and then you gotta play 3, and you're like, oh.
I think
It's
you can
like-
expect those
He
movies
wasn't even
right
in
after the
3.
planned DC
Yeah, he was-
versus Marvel
he
movies
wasn't
that
in
lead to the amalgam
sure.
movie.
What I like
Oh,
to do
yeah,
is I
that was
coupled Iron Man and
Spider-Boy
War
and-
Machine together. and just double power teamed everyone.
Double proton cannon.
And you're like, oh, it's just a giant laser beam. I can't even see the background because there's so much death in your face.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Well,
Rockets.
okay. Well, we got some Star Wars news going down. Bloomberg did an interview with George Lucas about the acquisition of Lucasfilm, and he basically confirmed but unconfirmed that Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford are all signed on for Episode 7.
That's good because I think it's good. I think they can take it in a different direction where it could, because in the New Jedi Order when they're all old, they could it could be a passing of the torch because Han Solo is very old.
Yeah.
The latest twist I heard was that
As long
Carrie
as they
Fisher will be playing Jabba the Hutt this time.
As long as they don't touch the who's and
Yes.
wrong, I will probably watch all these movies. Then again, a better writer and director and maybe could pull them off in a way that I don't hate them.
I think any person in this room could
This is
pull them
by
off. in a way
better
that
writer and
would
director,
happen.
you mean anyone that's not Lucas.
Oh.
Actually, I agree with you. Lucas ruined my childhood.
I should
Thank
point
you
out
very
I'm not a
much.
Star Wars
Well,
fan.
they're keeping him on as a creative consultant.
Which means
Neither are most Star
they're
Wars
just
fans.
They let
selling
him
his
sit in the
name,
back.
Yeah. Well,
oh yeah,
because when Lucas is like, well, maybe we should do this ridiculous,
and
stupid Anakin, and they're
J.J.
like,
Abrams goes no.
you
This
see
is
Abrams
where
just
Jar Jar
slap his
can
hand.
come
He's
in.
like, go stand in the corner, George.
I want
Don't talk to me for an hour.
I want to see Worf come out.
Get me a
with-
latte.
Worf come out with a bat'leth and just go to Lucas, just cut him in half.
I would like to see a thing where he starts talking to
J.J.
J.J. Abrams, and Abrams just looks at him and just kicks him straight in the balls. And he's like, no.
No, he just looks,
I'm driving now.
He just look at Zach Quinto and goes, "Hey, Spock, hit him might work."
You just see like Spock walk up and do the nerve pinch.
Nerve pinch.
And then they drag Lucas out of the room and he's like, so, let's make a real movie now.
Oh!
Well,
A New Hope.
And in this interview, he was basically, well, he was quoted.
Shows like J.J. Abrams, which says A New Hope, and he's like, he looks like Star Wars Jesus.
I wish to call for a
Becomes
vote of no faith in George Lucas.
Wow.
Vote of no confidence.
A vote of no confidence.
Well, he's basically just making it as a hype machine. He's not. I don't think he was supposed to announce it, but he kind of officially dropped it because he's George Lucas and he still want to be in on the fame of his movies. But whatever.
They're not his anymore, though.
Yeah, they're not.
Thank the gods of all things that are good.
Okay,
Star Wars.
Latino Review rumored that Christopher Nolan is in charge of all the DC movies now.
I heard that.
I kind of hope that's
Him
not
and
true.
David Goyer.
Yeah, I really hope that's not true, because...
A more realistic view of heroes with fantastic powers just doesn't sit.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how Superman goes. If he can make Superman cool,
I heard it's
He can
gonna
make
be-
anything
he can make him cool.
Well,
But that's
judging
more,
by the
I think
the
that's
past
more
of the
Zack
Superman-
Snyder than...
yeah, judging by the past of the
Nolan.
Superman movies, it's not hard to make Superman better. I mean, have you seen Superman 3?
Letting him
I
punch
have.
something
I
is a good
have,
start.
And it was painful.
Well, I'm just saying that with that, they're also rumored that Christian Bale is supposedly coming back as Batman,
Which doesn't make
which doesn't make
Because
any
he
sense.
quit.
Lazarus
Quit.
Yes,
Oh, he quit. And Batman never quits.
He doesn't.
I'm joking now because Batman never quits.
Do you want a Bane mask? Will that help you out? You can talk.
The exceptional pain that for some unexplained
I think
reason.
we've made fun of Bane on every single podcast so far.
Bane is awesome. I love the Bane voice again. Batman. Ask for the devil. Ask for the devil, and he shall appear.
have on the itinerary, Marquise?
Oh. Just some phase. So I guess some phase 2 stuff. Obviously Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor's gonna be a lot of galactic stuff. Iron Man 3. By the way, if you haven't seen the trailer yet,
What's wrong with you?
On
Wow.
Trailer's going
Oh, that trailer.
I watched that trailer.
Oh, yeah!
I saw that.
Love that trailer!
I saw that when the day it came out. I was just like,
thought this was
Sorry.
a family podcast.
Sorry, spoiler. The Hulkbuster armor.
yeah, the whole bus. He was like, let's call it some reinforcements because I got all these remote controlled awesomeness and just flies in and the whole
And,
bus.
and,
Is
it's just oh, it was just amazing. And
I
it's
was
like,
really sad that it wasn't in the typical red and yellow. It was all like
Yeah.
gunmetal.
What is prototypes? So you just have a bunch
That's
of
true.
You gotta figure
a bunch
he
of
probably
prototypes.
That's true, but
But it was
drivers
still
could have
good.
slapped some paint on that real quick.
Even before it all blew up.
Yeah.
He sent the message to the tower. Hey, unleash the horde.
Oh, he's like, we need some backup. Why don't we just,
Speaking of Warcraft, I downloaded patch 5.2 and started playing in a second.
What a really weird tangent.
Don't care.
that I don't care about.
Iron Man 3.
How about that Iron Man 3?
How about Iron Man 3?
Hey, you know what's great? Iron Man 3. Horde. Oh, yeah, let's talk about WoW, because...
But like the part like right when War Machine touches down and he gives that salute, I wish it would have been like America. America's everything. It was like because I got the theme song to Team America World Police in my head. The moment
Which
he
we
starts
can't
walking
say on
around.
here.
Yeah. But he just like walks down and gives that salute, and you're just like, I can't wait to watch this movie because there's
Could be so awesome.
Some
be
people
so
looking
good.
real closely at that are wondering
Dude,
if...
the Mandarin looks... Ben Kingsley looks like he's going to kill the
what do you think
Mandarin.
about his voice? That one
Apparently-
I like it. I like
apparently
it.
to be a villain you have to draw out your syllables.
I like it.
He's also
At
supposed
least
to
he
be
doesn't
Asian.
talk like this.
Mandarin's he's a Chinese
He's
character.
not
But he does.
But then again, in the defense, with the origin of Mandarin, he found the power rings from a crashed alien spaceship that was housed the alien race of the dragon monster Fin Fang Foom, who tore up the wall and stuff. So that was a little dumb. So a giant dragon alien crashes in China, and for some reason was carrying human-sized power rings and whatever. I like
There's
this
something
one.
in comics about spaceships crashing
It was
and leaving
Stan
superpowered
Lee.
rings behind.
That's the excuse. Stan Lee made that character up, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Fin Fang Foom."
Well, Fin Fang Foom wasn't that big too back in
his original premiere, like on the original episode where they introduced him, it showed him ripping up the Great Wall of China. So he was a giant dragon person, and it was awful because he was like,
yeah.
Who here has read Next Wave?
Agents of Hate. Yes. Next Wave is awesome.
Yeah, it's a comedy book, and it's got a bunch of people that no one really gave a crap about.
They Misty Knight and all those guys.
Misty
was in Agents of
Yeah,
Hate.
yeah, and Machine Man was X-51.
Yeah.
And Boomer, or whatever her name is, the chick that throws lava from X-Men.
No, it's not lava.
Boom Boom
She
and
turns
Boom Boom.
Sonic into explosions. Sonic energy into explosions. Boomer.
Yeah, Boom Boom. Yeah.
Awful. Awful character. She was
so-
in an X-Men arcade game though.
Yeah,
And she was actually a very pivotal part in
No, she wasn't. That
the
was
X-Men
Dazzler.
Utopia.
Oh,
And
She was-
Dazzler
That
in
was
that.
Dazzler. My mistake.
yeah, I was like,
There's
And
so
Dazz-
many X-Men.
Dazzler's
that
got a
power
hardcore
now.
now.
They just
And Dazzler's
re-upped the
hardcore
power
now.
set.
Light
Yeah.
in the sound? Is sound and light? Yeah,
she's got it going on. Now.
she's got it going on now. She's one of Cyclops. She was one of Cyclops' peoples.
Well, hold on.
Shouldn't
You
extreme
have
X-Men.
to understand where such a bad place that Cyclops is in right now when someone named Dazzler is his
Well,
right man. I mean,
She's also like the Cher of this
She's-
world.
yeah.
Or whatever. Not Cher, but like Lady Gaga, maybe. I
Oh,
don't
so
know,
she's
Katy
like-
Perry.
she
Huge,
has
huge
a
pop
plan.
star. No.
okay.
She's like the share this world. She was full 40 years
And
ago.
I didn't get shot, folks. I'm awake and they did not get shot.
I went to a very Japanese place there. For
That was wrong. So wrong. My gosh. All right.
Sorry.
Okay,
What
okay.
else you got? We got
Yeah, we gotta move on. I know there was Omar Sy got cast in the X-Men: Days of Future Past. He was in the French film The Untouchables. His role is unspecified. Bryan Singer broke that on Twitter, and it was confirmed by a Box Office Mojo.
See who else was confirmed is going to be in the
Yes,
X-Men?
Storm is back. Halle Berry will reprise her role as Storm,
Oh.
which means the team is almost back together. We're all we need is Cyclops and Jean. We've got the.
You know who I would really like to see in another X-Men movie? Nightcrawler.
I would
If
kill people.
it wasn't for the complications with the actor and the prosthetics or whatever it was,
I think
he was such a great character. And then they're like, oh, let's do the Red Nightcrawler in this new movie, and it worked out.
it was his dad though. I mean, that's
yeah,
it's just
that
his
really
dad.
is his
So
dad.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but like it felt like it was just
Why not just have him
It was just a balance
or something? But the thing is, Raven is his mom too. Like,
Yeah.
they're supposed to hook up at some point and have him, which
baby.
I know the last X-Men First Class was so good. What I really wanted was Not X-Men 3. That movie was awful.
No.
That movie was god awful.
It was the most horrible thing ever because, the director jumped ship to go direct a horrible Superman movie.
Totally worth it.
So we all won.
It's a great move for his career.
And left his franchise in the hands of the guy who did Rush Hour.
Oh my god, this island made out of kryptonite. It's so strong and it's killing me. I gotta
Maybe-
get it into outer
maybe you
space
should-
now.
punch it and break it into little pieces
Or
and shoot
Superman
it.
doesn't punch or kick.
Is that
All he
my
does is he
kid?
floats-
Oh my god.
He floats outside his muse's apartment building
But,
and uses his creepy powers
wait
to
till her to
expel
hold-
Oh, Lex Luthor, you're thinking so hard at me.
Lex Luthor.
his love child was stronger and did
was, like, cooler than
was
you were.
more action oriented in that movie
When he killed that guy
by
with the
pushing
piano.
that piano.
Yeah.
than Superman was the entire movie.
But the X-Men movie, what I wanted was I wanted them to introduce Angel in a good way, and then eventually do an Apocalypse movie
No.
where you had Archangel because he's like one of my favorite X-Men of all time.
No,
But now they were like, we'll get Multiple Man, and you can.
I was okay with Multiple Man. He wasn't.
I was not
I
okay
didn't-
with the film itself.
I didn't like the fact that he was evil because Multiple Man's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that he was evil, but at the same time,
I didn't like the
enjoyed
fact-
the Multiple Man.
I didn't
Yeah, I
like
like
the fact they
seeing
cast
him.
the Juggernaut as a mutant because he clearly is not a mutant,
Yeah, that was again just dumb.
and they threw in the throwback
dumb,
to the Juggernaut movie,
dumb
Yeah.
writing.
or the
No Colossus fighting at all. He was in 2 scenes in that whole fight scene,
Or
and
they-
did not fight the
Two more
Juggernaut
than
at
some.
all.
there was that
Sad.
clip. There's the what was her name? It was the one chick that could sense the power level of mutants, Calypso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They mangled her character. They didn't even have Quicksilver. It's like, why did you do this? Why? Beast was actually one of the ones I did enjoy
pretty
that
sweet.
film. Kelsey Grammer did a very good job as Beast. It's how I imagined Beast talking because I grew up watching Frasier and he's very smart. But
Oh my stars and garters.
When
exactly.
he did that, I was like, yes. Good times.
But then back to the thing in hand.
I'm watching that movie again tonight. I've only seen
3?
it once. No.
Don't.
First Class.
Okay, first class.
First Class is good.
First class.
Yeah,
watch First Class.
yeah, we're talking about 3.
Oh,
You're
that's
like,
true.
yeah.
3 versus
No,
no.
no.
It's like, I can take away mutant
No,
powers
I-
with my plastic darts. And I
I
was
watched
just
that-
like, oh my, why did you do this to me?
I watched
Yeah.
that one time.
I went to
and
the
that was
theater.
it.
I almost stood up and walked out, just the same as I was like, Superman Returns is such an awful film.
Superman is bad.
There's not enough Supermaning.
Superman
see
3 is the best Superman.
You need to go home now. That movie is awful.
Quit talking. Stop it.
Okay, moving on from Eli's weirdness.
Give him your headset.
Carrie Russell just got cast in the new Planet of the Apes movie.
Which I hope is as good as Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that movie. It was good.
It was good.
got that from Hitflix. She's joining Jason Clarke and Cody Smith McPhee and Gary Oldman and Andy Serkis will be playing Caesar the monkey again.
Yay!
According to Variety, however, her role has not been revealed, so we don't know who she's playing, but that should be interesting.
Nah.
We did the Storm news already. Get your pass, blah, blah, blah. And that's pretty much it on my front for the news today.
Sweet.
So can we finish talking about the Iron Man trailer now? Or?
I want to get back to SimCity.
Does anyone else have any news?
I do.
Okay, you got a little bit, and then I want to just get a little thing out. And are you no?
No, I'm
You're
good.
So,
Okay.
SimCity.
We were done with this, man.
Apparently, they're having some server issues.
Not my house.
Some people are having trouble creating cities
Eli,
in SimCity.
You can't have no in your heart.
So
Wow.
when was the last time that there was a when was your last podcast? How long ago was that?
Last Thursday.
Last week. Was it before or after Batman Inc. #8?
It was.
It was.
We
it would've
discussed that.
Yeah, we discussed it. Well, if you want to discuss it,
If
you're
you
the
want-
guest.
I mean, I'm just
been- Discuss Batman Inc. Do not spoil Death of the Family. Whatever you do, because I just
Oh,
started
it doesn't
reading
even
it
involve
today.
that. So
Okay.
it doesn't even involve
Well,
that.
I just started reading Death of the Family today. I finally got to those books. So
I'm actually just.
I still can't believe that he killed everyone at the end of that.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, you're talking about Hush, right? Hush did it. No, so
Wait, what?
It was Eggman.
Eggman?
Yeah.
Dr. Robot.
I heard it was Max's.
Did not see that coming.
I heard it was Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. he crossed brands just to kill everyone.
Doctor Strange.
It was
crossed
dread.
dimensions.
It was just
and,
He killed them by peeing on them with fire.
I wanted to get. We talked about it just briefly earlier, but I wanted to touch on this subject. Paul Bearer passing away. It's very sad. I've been reading about it, and a lot of the wrestlers have been coming out saying, I remember when I first met Paul Bearer. Fun one. If you got, for those of you that know, Evan Bourne, pro wrestler, does a lot of high flying stuff. Great to watch. He's from Japan. He's not Japanese, but he did a lot of work in Japan, so his style is very stiff. He does jumping knee uppercuts. It's great. But he had a picture at it was an amusement park with a very morbidly obese Paul Bearer sitting beside him, going, ooh, and they're on the roller coaster as he's making this face, and it's one of those things where they took the picture.
Nice.
And they gave it to you later, and you still got it. I was like, that is so
That's
awesome.
That's really cool.
Because, I just... The only thing that would have been better is if you had an urn with him, and he's... Oh,
and then the Undertaker shows up in the backyard of the roller coaster.
Yes, it's like a Sinister. You see in the background, he's just there. And then you turn away for a second, and then he looks at you.
Okay, I'm gonna go home tonight and rewatch that movie, and if you could do that, edit the film instead of the Sinister monster, it was the Undertaker,
But he kind of looks like he's got the long hair.
He looks like Death from Darksiders 2. I was like, wait a second. I read a commentary on the wiki. Basically, they were talking about the initial concept for the guy from Sinister was he wanted a really dark Willy Wonka type character, and I was like, I would have never been able to take that seriously.
Yeah, it's like
with the hat and the bow tie.
You stole fizzy lifting drink.
I'm going to murder your family.
If you saw Insidious, it would be too hard because the character. Who you guys seen Insidious? Anyone?
Dude,
Okay,
I don't.
Darth Maul in the ceiling, baby.
Scary movies.
It was scary, but it's not like Saw.
And I don't do
Saw's
scary.
not scary.
I don't do
Saw's
scary
gross.
movies.
Saw is I can watch monsters and aliens and demons tear people into pieces all day long.
Yeah.
And I'll still be freaked out by it. But the one thing I can't watch are movies like Saw and Hostel and whatever it was. Where
Just
it's,
Gorefest?
No, it's I can't take the fact that there are people in this
torturing
world that
people,
torture and destroy other people just because they can. That bothers me so much more. I would rather walk out with a shotgun and fight hordes of zombies and aliens and crap because that gives me the fantasy of not having to face the fact that there are screwed up evil people. So anyway, back to
I just real quick and then I want to cover the other wrestling thing, but the thing with that is the monster in Insidious looks so silly. Because he just looks like a little devil man, He
looks like Darth Maul, like a really tiny Darth Maul on the ceiling.
He does. He reminds, the guy from Legend. Remember the big devil dude? He's like a small version of that, like the wimpy brother from if they were in the movie Twins.
Yeah, I was
he's the Danny DeVito.
He's the Danny DeVito of the Devil's Twins. Okay, I can see that. But you look up on the ceiling in Insidious, and he's just there, staring at you, all super intense, and you're like, that's really not that scary. Does he have a lightsaber up there? I mean, what's he supposed to do?
It's so much better. They're making a sequel.
Really?
But the other thing I wanted to talk about, Monday Night Raw, not this one that we just occurred, but the one before that, where I made Steve made you watch that match with Cena and CM Punk.
And that was way good.
One of the best matches this year, best matches in a long time. Triple H fought Brock Lesnar outside the ring. There was blood, stitches. We talked about all that before. Here's the great thing about it. People are like, what's that wet spot? What's that? Triple H has a wet spot between his legs.
He peed himself.
He really did. He's like, you know what? You don't go down to the ring and challenge Brock Lesnar with a full bladder.
No way! No way!
I read that on Wrestling Inc. That's who gets the credit for that, and you know what? That just cracked me up. It's like, oh, so you're gonna go down there and fight a MMA guy? Well, you gotta go pee pee.
There's not like pee and blood. A mix of pee and blood to make you feel manly.
Yeah, that's what they meant with you're in trouble.
There is a when I say there is a musk to a wrestling ring, I didn't refer to actually urination.
You got to leave it all on the.
You gotta leave it all in the ring.
Yeah.
You gotta leave it all.
But he didn't.
He left it in his pants.
He left it in his pants.
What's funny though is you see in TNA wrestling they've been having the aces and eights. There's guys that come down with there's supposed to be a biker gang that's also full of mercenaries. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly. They what was it? They kept wrestling wearing jeans, but they're wearing like really light jeans and
Faded jeans.
Huh? Did you say fitted or faded?
Faded.
Well, no, they're
Are they boot cut or?
what my point was, they're sweaty, and they all seem to have sweat. And when you see maybe they're faded or maybe they're just a lighter color. I don't know. But I don't know what the color is supposed to be of jeans. Now that I think about it. Anyways, the point is they all have like sweaty bums, and this is weird. They got like big pit stains and sweaty bums. And you're like, what's going on? Why do you guys have to wear 12 layers when you come down to the ring? Why can't you just wear like tights that say I'm in a gang?
I love that. That's like the point where you're like, okay, this is ridiculous. What's with your get up?
No. All right, you want to talk ridiculous?
I don't watch wrestling, but
here's ridiculous.
What, jeans? That's ridiculous.
No way. Hulk Hogan's daughter Brooke has joined TNA wrestling.
Well, got the TNA there.
Well, yeah, we're not. Anyway, she is a tall woman, and she could be a wrestler if she wanted to, but she wants to be a pop singer and an actress.
Good luck.
Don't die, Steve! Don't die! You're talking at the wrong time.
Oh man! Why do you? That's the second time you say that you almost killed me.
The first was with a Nerf gun, but she wants to do this for real. This is her thing, and they have a story arc where she marries a character who many know as Bubba Ray from the Dudley Boys, and now he's Bully Ray. Okay, first off, his gimmick is he's a bully and he's from New York, and he's got the best calves in wrestling. And he's also like
best calves in wrestling.
Yeah, and he wears shorts.
Best watch out for that guy.
Look at my calves.
Was there ever an actual vote for that?
I don't know.
I would vote
I don't
no.
know. I would say no to that. Because,
Why are we talking about TNA?
Because it's so ridiculous. Like he's talking about, well, that's what makes you think. No, the whole show is ridiculous. It's on right now. I'm going to watch it on fast forward, just like, okay, this happened. Okay, this happened.
You can only stop and watch the
done.
women's wrestling because it's the best wrestling of the night.
It really is.
And then
maybe X Division if they have it. If
they allow the X Division to show up on TV.
Yeah.
But the women's wrestling match is always probably the best match of the night because they've got all the best women wrestlers right now. And then we'll go back to meaningless nonsense about aces and eights, Kazarian and Angel and
Robert Roode
did trying to win all the belts. Who
Austin
cares?
Aries.
No one cares about TNA. And you'll get and let me say now, you'll get those TNA hardcore fans. Yo, TNA is better. It's like TNA is like WCW
when it was failing.
when it was failing.
was
Like
amazing.
circa 2000.
I can honestly say that I've
before
watched
that.
a couple episodes of TNA, and I find that the videos that Nate posts, where he does his own commentary on the matches done by the computer, are far more interesting than DNA.
Which,
It has a much better story.
you have to... Okay, well, mine involves... This is how much fun I'm having with this
Which also,
game.
let me believe, why haven't you posted any more of those?
I've been
been a few
busy.
days.
Okay, I've been busy. We're going to wrap it up, guys, if you don't mind, because we're into
Okay.
overtime.
All right.
Welcome to the finale. Coming up soon, we're going to talk about... Let's see. Life of Pi comes out next week.
I gotta see that movie.
I'm going to try to convince these crazy guys to watch Dread 3D.
Don't need to be convinced. That movie looks
And
amazing.
the other thing, let's see, what games are coming out next? Are there any big games coming out next week?
Yeah, there's one game that's coming out that's kind of big next week. It's StarCraft 2: Heart of the Swarm,
I haven't heard of it, but okay.
but that's coming out on Tuesday.
I might not be available for a couple days after
You mean
that.
Zerg Rush 2, the Zerg?
Yeah, Zerg.
Oh man!
Yeah, that's coming out.
I actually saw an advertisement that said "Join the Rush" and it just had a bunch of
Yeah,
Zerg
yeah, that's there. I like that campaign. I think it's pretty cool.
Because that's what happens. Like, you're like, oh man, I'm playing my Protoss. I'm going to build a build a photon cannon. And like, oh look, 30 Zerglings run into my base and I'm dead.
I watched a pro match the other night, and the guy won with a Zerg Rush, and it was really great. Like, won the series with a Zerg Rush. I was like, yeah, I would absolutely.
I would literally throw my keyboard if that happened. Like, I'd be like, man, I'm the baddest mofo at StarCraft, and I'm going like blowing this thing down. I got my build down to the microseconds, and all of a sudden there's Zerglings into your base, and you're like, no, not my SCVs.
But it's so great that is a valid tactic. Like, that's how crazy that game is. That like the most basic Zerg unit can just go in and decimate you within the first 5 minutes of the game, unless you prepared for it and got your scouting done correctly and knew that that's what they were doing based on how they had everything set up, and then you built your stuff accordingly.
That assumption is false. It just means the game is evil.
But it's so good that can happen.
Especially when the computer does it to you in such a ridiculous fashion.
Okay, what else?
There's a couple other things. Yeah, I think there's. I already talked about all the stuff that's coming out this week.
Yeah, we really kind of covered it.
But the stuff that's coming out next week. Oh, how did I forget that? God of War Ascension is coming out next Tuesday also, which is going to be really crazy.
I really want to play that game, but at the same time, StarCraft 2. I'd rather give my money to Sony than Activision, but at the same time.
Ridiculous Fishing for the iPhone.
Is that really the name of the...
That's the game.
I know what that game
is. Ridiculous
Fishing. Buy an iPhone right now so I can get that game. It sounds ridiculously good.
Your hook's going like all the way down into this crazy crevasse, and you got to guide it through, and then it comes back up with stuff, and then there's just like this... I don't even know how to describe it. Just a litany of colors and explosions as you pull it up.
It's like playing Flow, but with fishing.
Wasn't that like one of the little mini games in one of the Zelda games?
Yeah, except
kind of like that.
Except this is good. You're taking like ecstasy while you're playing that and listening to club music. So that's really.
Oh, also Darkstalkers Resurrection on Tuesday.
I don't know that.
For what system?
It's a download. It's on PS3 and Xbox Live Marketplace.
I know what I'm doing with my monies.
What is it? Is it
Darkstalkers?
Capcom's
the old Capcom fighting.
Oh, Darkstalkers! I thought you were saying Darksiders.
This is going to have Darkstalkers 3 and the one that wasn't called Darkstalkers, the one that was called
awful.
Night something.
It was like Night Stalkers.
Night Warrior.
Yeah, it was Warriors of the Night.
Yeah, something like that. But that's coming out for download on Tuesday also.
The werewolf.
Well, you know what?
Tuesday is crazy.
You know what? What was it? Darkstalkers 3 was in Japan. Vampire Savior. You know how I know that? I have the import.
You're a nerd.
I have the import for the Saturn. Nerd! Dude, that's what I miss. I miss importing games. Like, importing games was so awesome back in the day.
Because you could be an elitist jerk and be like, I've got the Japanese version of this game.
I do.
It's preposterous.
Hey, quick news. X-Pac just got a WWE Legends contract.
Oh, wow. So he's actually...
so that was from Gerbeck.net. That they broke that. So yeah, it's official. The entire DX for now back in WWE.
As Legends.
So that's who knows? We might the Outlaws wrestled on Raw Monday, so who knows?
It's 1998 all over again.
I want to see Sergeant Slaughter again.
He did wrestle the other day.
I know, and he looks awful. Time has not been kind to that man.
Oh, the other thing for all of our Time Rust Brain trustees, we are almost done with the website, and soon you'll be able to subscribe to us on iTunes and carry us around and not have to have a feed to get us on YouTube. So
right.
Working on that now. Just have some issues with server. Right now the limit is... I know this is something simple that I'm probably not figuring out, but I got to call our host and yell at them. But right now I can... No, this actually works. You can actually put in a podcast really easily, but for some reason it limits it at 32 megabytes. Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't know. So I've been, changing all these INI files and all these other crazy files.
That seems weird.
And I'm like, okay, I know some code, and I know this sounds good, and like all these people say it works. And then like, oh, if none of these work, just contact your provider. Like, oh, thanks a lot. So we'll have a website soon.
Our first review should be hitting probably Facebook tonight, and then the website later, or maybe,
Well, I mean, I could
maybe
throw
even the
it.
website tonight as well.
It depends if I pass out or not.
Okay.
But the website, I had cleaning really early this morning. So
That's fine.
I'm a wuss. Yeah, I know. Shotgun. I have a shotgun. No, it's not
Nerf
real.
shotgun.
It's a Nerf shotgun.
I don't
It's
know.
the best one, the rough cut 2x4. Thank you.
It's
But,
it's Nerf or nothing.
Well,
And that's your promo for the day.
I mean, it could be.
That's
If it's not Nerf, it could actually be Air Zone, or
Yeah.
there's a couple other
Exploders.
Yeah, explode. Yeah,
What are we talking about?
yeah. There are
Other air guns. Exploders is weird because it's like you're growing crystals, but they're not crystals. They're just like little pellets
that absorb water.
That absorb
and then
water.
They
You fire
break
them.
apart. It's weird.
And you don't. They're not like this where you go and fire. You just kind of pump it, and it fires as you're pumping it.
So it's like a really bad paintball gun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So I mean, it's Nerf, or it is a number of other things.
Probably.
It's
isn't very
Nerf
good.
or garbage. So
Because this gun fires.
Hey, we love Nerf here.
I know,
We love Nerf.
dude. Nerf is
Hey,
part of my.
that-
The only thing that we need that we don't have is more laser tag.
Dude.
Yeah.
You know they had a
I,
thing with
I want more
Ubisoft.
swords too. We gotta get more swords.
That thing's never coming out,
Awesome.
What?
The Ubisoft thing.
or it came out like it may have came out in like Europe or something.
No,
silly.
it's out
I
here.
forgot
You just
something.
can't find it anywhere.
Oh, it's actually out here.
Yeah, I've seen reviews from like average people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually forgot. I thought it was a funny thing. Touching on the SimCity snafu.
Travesty.
Anyway, Steam.
Unacceptable.
Once everyone found out that SimCity was broken, Steam brought out a SimCity collection sale, and they were selling things like Tropico and everything else where you build cities, and they apparently made a pretty good quick buck from people that had the building cities fever. So
I'm not gonna lie, I played SimCity 4.
I'm glad that
I have SimCity 4. I paid like $3 for it.
I used to
$5.
play like all the other Sim games like Sim World and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Sim
Island was
Golf.
great.
Sim Tower.
We'll have an update on the Sim situation hopefully next week, and hopefully it's been resolved.
If I ever get to play it, I'm gonna write a review.
I don't think you
actually,
will.
Yeah, looking forward to. I'm going to be reviewing Xenogears and paralleling it with its evil twin Xenosaga.
Apparently, someone hates themselves, so they're.
Those
gonna
are
go-
great games.
Well,
Shut your mouth.
One of them is great.
What, Xenosaga?
Those are both great.
I'm
right.
sorry.
We're gonna have a duel here in a second, but that's all for us. We've had a great run, and hope to see you next
Thank
week.
you for our guest.
Yeah, thanks.
Ian,
Thanks,
for
Ian, for
coming.
showing up.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
It's fun.
We got to talk about things. So.
Stuff.
All right, that's all. Anyone else got anything before we go?
Buy more comics.
I forgot to
SimCity
mention
does
something I
not
wanted to talk about.
work.
That'll be another half-hour conversation, I'm sure.
Sounds good. We'll have you back, and you can tell us all about that stuff, and maybe let me know, more than 2 hours before we record. So
At least three.
try this thing. That's great. All right, thank you, and we'll catch you again here on the Time Rust Brain Trust. Bye bye.
SimCity
Peace.
does not work.